Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to be exploring the science behind romantic love.
Well, very cool.
Yeah, you've given us a ton of research articles on the subject.
Yeah.
Psychology, neuroscience, even evolutionary biology.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, so we're going to uncover some really surprising findings
Okay.
about how love affects mental health,
Okay.
how our preferences for partners change,
Mm-hmm.
and why humor is so important.
I like where this is going.
Yeah, so one of the most interesting things I saw in the research was this connection
Yeah.
between being in a loving relationship and better mental health.
Oh, interesting.
I mean, it's not just about being happier, is it?
No, not at all.
It seems like it's actually protective.
Yeah, it seems
Mhm.
like being in a healthy, committed relationship can protect against mental health issues.
Wow.
But it really does seem like the quality of the relationship matters
Yeah,
a lot.
it's not just about being with someone.
Right. It's not just about being coupled up. It's about nurturing a positive dynamic between the two people.
So it's not just finding a partner, it's about cultivating the connection.
Think of it like tending a garden.
Okay.
A well-tended garden flourishes.
Right.
A neglected one withers.
Yeah.
Relationships,
Yeah.
they need that same care and attention if they're going to thrive.
I love that analogy.
Thanks.
So speaking of things that change over time, I was curious about like our idea of the ideal partner,
Yeah.
like how that changes as we grow up.
Well, the research seems to show that while, like, our core values stay pretty consistent,
Yeah.
the things we look for in a partner can change a lot,
Like what?
like physical attractiveness or wealth.
Oh, interesting.
Those often become less important over time.
Okay.
Yeah.
While things like kindness, humor, shared values become more important.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting how life kind of reshapes our priorities.
Right.
Like, I know for me, becoming a parent totally changed my perspective. Like,
Right.
suddenly, stability and responsibility were way more attractive than someone who just looked good
Yeah.
in a photo. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And it really seems to line up with the research.
Yeah.
Like these big life events make us reevaluate what really matters.
So this next thing really stood out to me.
Okay.
Multiple studies actually highlighted the role of humor
Oh, yeah.
in romantic relationships.
Yeah, this was a fascinating one.
Yeah, it seems like humor's more than just making someone laugh.
It really does.
Yeah.
The study suggests that a good sense of humor is actually a sign of intelligence and problem-solving skills.
Wow.
So when you think about it,
Yeah.
a partner who can find humor, even in tough situations,
Yeah.
they're probably going to be more resilient,
Yeah.
more resourceful.
Yeah.
They can kind of navigate those challenges with a positive outlook.
So from an evolutionary perspective, maybe humor's a way of saying, hey, I can handle anything.
Yeah, like, hey, I'm someone who can handle whatever life throws our way.
Right, exactly.
And that can be super attractive to a potential partner.
Yeah.
It's like you're advertising your ability to deal with stress and adapt to change.
It's wild how these simple things have such deep implications.
Yeah.
So speaking of hidden depths, the research also looked at the neuroscience of love,
Okay.
specifically how it relates to the brain's reward system.
Interesting.
You know, that feeling when you achieve a goal or experience something pleasurable.
Oh, yeah, that rush.
Yeah, that feeling of reward.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it turns out the same areas of the brain that
Mhm.
light up when you experience those things
Mhm.
are also activated when we're deeply in love.
Wow, so you're saying
Yeah.
our brains perceive being with our loved one
Hmm.
as like a rewarding experience.
Yeah.
Similar to like achieving a goal or having a great meal.
Exactly.
Wow, so it's like our brain's telling us this person is good for you.
Right.
Being with them feels good.
Yeah.
And those good feelings make the bond stronger,
Yeah. Perfect.
making us want to spend more time with them.
So in a way, cuddling with your partner is like giving your brain a dopamine hit.
I like that.
Yeah.
But what's also interesting is the research suggests it's not just about those grand romantic gestures or like extravagant displays of affection.
Oh, okay.
It's often the small everyday things
Really?
that make a difference in relationship satisfaction.
So things like compliments, expressions of fondness, just making time for each other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Those things communicate care and appreciation,
Yeah.
and that reinforces the bond between partners.
But there are some caveats, right?
Oh, yeah. The research also suggests that balance is key.
Okay, what do you mean?
Even with positive gestures, too much of a good thing can backfire.
Right.
It's about finding that sweet spot
Yeah.
where both partners feel loved and appreciated, but not smothered or overwhelmed.
Okay, so this next one really surprised me.
Okay, what is it?
There's a theory that romantic love may have evolved from the bond between mothers and infants.
Oh, wow, that's fascinating.
It might sound strange at first, but when you look at the similarities,
Yeah.
it kind of makes sense.
Like what?
Think about that intense emotional connection, the desire for closeness,
Yeah.
that urge to protect and care for the other person.
Yeah. You're right. Those elements are there in both types of love.
Exactly. And it goes beyond just behavior.
Oh, real?
There are similarities in brain activity and even hormonal patterns
Wow.
between mothers and infants and romantic partners.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so maybe that feeling of being head over heels in love is tapping into something ancient.
Wow. It makes you think.
It really does. This is all so fascinating.
It is.
But on a practical level, one thing that stuck with me was the importance of goal coordination.
Oh, coordination.
Yeah, in relationships.
That's a good one.
The studies show that couples who can coordinate their goals well,
Okay.
both individually and as a couple, tend to be happier
Yeah.
and more satisfied.
That makes sense.
So it's not just about supporting each other's dreams.
Right.
It's about actively working together to make those dreams happen.
It's about having those conversations
Yeah.
about what you both want to achieve, both personally and as a couple.
Yeah. Are you saving for a vacation? Are you supporting each other's careers?
Exactly.
Are you talking about long-term financial goals?
Yeah, those conversations can be tough sometimes,
Yeah.
but they're so important for building a life together.
Speaking of building a life together,
Okay.
we can't forget about the physical intimacy.
Right, of course.
There's growing evidence that a healthy sex life can benefit both physical and mental health.
It seems like it.
So, listener, this next finding is especially for you.
Okay.
Studies suggest that regular sexual activity can be beneficial
Right.
for your health and longevity, particularly if you have high blood pressure.
Interesting.
It's an area that needs more research, for sure,
Yeah.
but it adds to the evidence that a healthy sex life is linked to overall well-being.
Right.
So it seems that prioritizing intimacy can have benefits beyond the bedroom.
Yeah, for sure.
So while we're talking about things that contribute to a fulfilling relationship,
No.
one study brought up this concept of self-transcendence.
Self-transcendence.
Yeah.
That's a great one.
Yeah, this idea that people who prioritize things like kindness, equality, compassion,
Okay.
people who care about others and the greater good,
Yeah.
they tend to have happier and more fulfilling relationships.
That's a fascinating connection.
It really is. So it's not just about practical support or shared interests.
Right.
It's about your core values and how you see the world.
It makes sense when you think about it.
Yeah.
If you're focused on contributing to something bigger than yourself,
Yeah.
you're probably going to be more generous, more forgiving, more understanding in your relationships.
So maybe the secret to lasting love is less about finding the perfect partner
Okay.
and more about becoming the kind of person who embodies those values.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
Thanks. This has been such a insightful deep dive already.
Yeah.
I feel like we're just scratching the surface.
I know there's so much more to explore.
But don't worry, there's more to come.
Okay.
Stay tuned, because in the next part, we'll be going even deeper into the world of love and relationships and uncovering more practical insights that you can use in your own life.
Can't wait.
Me too. This is going to be good.
Yeah, it is.
So we're back and ready to continue our deep dive into the world of love. It's amazing how much research has been done on this topic.
It is.
Scientists seem to be getting closer to understanding the complexities of love and what makes relationships work.
What's really interesting is that these research findings aren't just theoretical.
Right.
They offer practical insights that we can all apply to our own lives and relationships.
Exactly. For instance, remember how we were talking about the importance of shared values?
Uh-huh.
Well, there's a whole body of research on how couples can actively cultivate and strengthen their shared values.
One study found that couples who engage in activities that reflect their values,
Like what?
like volunteering in their community or attending religious services together,
Okay.
they report higher levels of relationship satisfaction.
That makes sense when you think about it, when you're both actively living out your values. It fosters a sense of purpose and strengthens the connection between you.
It's like you're aligning your actions with your beliefs, both individually and as a couple.
Yeah. And that alignment can be incredibly powerful in creating a sense of harmony and shared purpose.
Absolutely. And it can also be a source of strength during those inevitable times of conflict or stress that every relationship faces.
Right, because let's face it, no relationship is perfect.
Exactly, no matter how much you love each other.
But the research suggests that couples who develop good communication and conflict resolution skills
Yeah.
are more likely to navigate those challenges successfully and stay together.
One of the key takeaways from the research is the importance of active listening
Oh, wow.
during disagreements.
Okay.
It's about really trying to understand your partner's perspective, even if you don't agree with it.
Right.
It's about empathy and validation,
Right.
even amidst conflict.
I can imagine that can be incredibly difficult, especially when emotions are running high.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Do you have any tips from the research on how to practice active listening,
Sure.
especially during those heated moments?
Well, one technique that often comes up is the use of I statements instead of you statements.
Yeah, okay.
For instance, instead of saying, you always make me feel,
Right.
try saying, I feel when.
Oh, okay.
This subtle shift in language can make a big difference.
Because it takes the focus away from blame and accusation
Right.
and places it on expressing your own feelings and needs.
Exactly. And that can make it easier for your partner to hear and understand where you're coming from
Right.
without feeling attacked or defensive.
And it's important to remember that the goal isn't to win the argument.
Right.
It's about finding a solution that works for both of you.
Exactly. And sometimes that means agreeing to disagree.
Yeah,
Not every issue needs to be resolved perfectly.
right.
What matters most is that both partners feel heard and respected, even when you have different viewpoints. We've talked a lot about the emotional and psychological aspects of love. But the research also delved into the physical side of relationships,
Okay.
particularly the importance of a healthy sex life.
Right. There's growing evidence that a healthy sex life can benefit both physical and mental health.
Yeah, it seems like it.
And for those of us who are curious about how to keep the spark alive over the long term, the research offers some interesting insights.
Like what?
One study found that couples who regularly engage in novel and exciting activities together,
Okay.
like trying a new restaurant, taking a dance class, or going on a weekend adventure,
Yeah.
they tend to report higher levels of relationship satisfaction.
So it's about breaking out of that routine, injecting some novelty and excitement back into the relationship,
Right.
and creating shared experiences that you can both look forward to.
Yeah. Doesn't have to be anything extravagant. Even small gestures like cooking a special meal together
Yeah,
or exploring a new part of your city can make a difference.
absolutely. It's about being intentional about creating those moments of connection and shared joy.
And those moments can be even more meaningful when you're both actively expressing your love and appreciation for each other.
So taking the time to say thank you, giving a heartfelt compliment,
Yeah.
or simply acknowledging the things your partner does that you appreciate.
Exactly. Those small acts of kindness, when practiced regularly, can go a long way in strengthening your bond and keeping the love alive.
But the research also explored some of the potential challenges that come with romantic love.
What do you mean?
For instance, one study found that people in love tend to idealize their partners,
Oh, yeah.
which can sometimes lead to disappointment down the road
Okay.
when those idealized images clash with reality.
It's like we put on those rose-colored glasses when we're falling in love.
Right.
And sometimes those glasses can obscure our partner's flaws or even prevent us from seeing red flags.
Exactly. And while those feelings of intense love and infatuation can be exhilarating,
Yeah.
it's important to maintain a healthy dose of realism
Right.
and to acknowledge that no one is perfect.
Another study found that love can actually make us more vulnerable
Poorly.
to manipulation and heartbreak.
It's a sobering thought that something as beautiful as love can also expose us to pain and vulnerability.
It's true, but I think it's important to acknowledge these potential downsides
Yeah.
so that we can be more mindful and protect ourselves while also embracing the beauty and joy that love brings.
It's about finding that balance between vulnerability and self-protection, between idealism and reality.
But amidst all this talk about the complexities and challenges of love,
Yeah.
I'm curious about what the research has to say about the role of humor.
Yes. Humor is such a powerful force in relationships.
Yeah.
We touched on it earlier when discussing its connection to intelligence and problem-solving skills.
Right.
But it goes beyond that.
Laughter is such a bonding experience.
It is.
It brings people together and creates a sense of shared joy and lightness.
Exactly. And from a physiological standpoint, laughter releases endorphins,
Oh, wow.
reduces stress, strengthens our connection with others.
So it's like a natural mood booster and relationship enhancer.
You could say that.
And according to the research, a shared sense of humor can also be a sign of compatibility
Yeah.
and intellectual connection.
Finding someone who shares your sense of humor,
Mm-hmm.
who gets your jokes and makes you laugh, can be incredibly enriching.
It's like having your own inside jokes and shared language of laughter.
Exactly.
So if you're looking for love, maybe try brushing up on your joke-telling skills.
Or at least be open to laughing at your partner's jokes, even if they're not always the funniest.
Yeah, being able to laugh together, even during tough times, is such a vital part of a healthy relationship.
It's about finding those moments of levity and shared joy, even
Yeah.
amidst challenges.
Speaking of shared experiences, one of the things that stood out to me in the research was the importance of rituals.
Rituals.
Yeah, in romantic
I'm
relationships.
intrigued. What kind of rituals are we talking about?
It could be anything from having a special way of saying goodbye in the morning to having a weekly date night or celebrating anniversaries in a unique way. It's
Ah.
about creating those little traditions that are specific to your relationship, those
Mhm.
recurring patterns of behavior that become imbued with meaning and significance.
Oh, I see. So it's about creating those little pockets of predictability and shared experience
Right.
that can anchor your relationship and provide a sense of comfort and connection.
Exactly. And the research suggests that these rituals can actually strengthen your bond and
Interesting.
create a sense of stability and continuity.
That makes sense, it's especially when you consider how important rituals are in many other aspects of life.
Yeah.
They provide structure, meaning, and a sense of belonging.
It's like weaving a tapestry of shared experiences and memories that connect you over
I
time.
love that analogy.
So maybe we should all be thinking about what rituals we can create or strengthen in our own relationships.
Definitely, whether it's a morning coffee routine, a
Mhm.
special way of celebrating birthdays, or simply taking a few minutes each day to connect and share your experiences.
Yeah.
Rituals can be a powerful way to inject intentionality and meaning into your relationship and create a sense of shared history and connection.
And speaking of connection, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on what all this research tells us about the future of love.
Oh, that's a big one.
With all the new technology and research emerging, it seems like we're entering uncharted territory in our understanding of this complex and ever-evolving emotion.
It's an exciting time to be studying love. I think it's clear that science is playing an increasingly important role in helping us understand and navigate the intricacies of romantic relationships.
Yeah,
But amidst all the data and analysis, I think it's important to remember that love is ultimately a mystery,
right.
a force that we may never fully comprehend.
There's always going to be that element of magic and serendipity that defies scientific explanation.
And that's what makes it so captivating and endlessly fascinating.
Before we move on, there was one final idea that I found quite compelling.
Okay?
The research suggests that love at its core is a choice.
A choice.
Yeah, it's not just something that happens to you.
It's something you actively cultivate and nurture.
I love that perspective. It emphasizes the agency we have in shaping our own love lives.
Right. It's not just about finding the right person. It's about making the choice to be loving,
Yeah,
to prioritize your relationship, and to put in the effort to make it thrive.
exactly. And it's a choice we make every single day
Right.
through our words, actions, and intentions.
It's about those small, consistent gestures of love and kindness
Yeah.
that accumulate over time and create a foundation of connection and intimacy.
So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to encourage you, listener, to reflect on this idea of love as a choice.
Oh.
What choices are you making in your own life to cultivate more love and connection?
Yeah.
What small acts of kindness can you offer to those you care about?
Right.
Remember, love is a verb, an action, a conscious decision to show up for yourself and for those you love.
Welcome back to the deep dive. As we kind of keep digging into this research on love, one thing that keeps popping up is this idea of personal growth. Yeah, it's not just about finding the right person. It's also about becoming the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
Right? The research shows that people who are always learning and growing and changing,
Yeah.
they tend to have more fulfilling relationships.
It reminds me of that saying, you can't pour from an empty cup.
Oh, yeah.
If you're not taking care of your own needs and investing in your own development,
Yeah,
it's hard to really show up for your partner and for the relationship.
for sure. And personal growth can take so many different forms.
Like what?
I mean, it could be pursuing your passions, learning a new skill,
Mm-hmm.
exploring different perspectives, or just working on being more self-aware
Yeah.
and emotionally intelligent.
It's about expanding your horizons, challenging yourself, embracing those new experiences.
Right. And the cool thing is,
Yeah.
as you grow and evolve, your relationship can evolve too.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. You might find new shared interests.
Uh-huh.
You develop a deeper understanding of each other. Or maybe just find new ways to appreciate and support each other.
It becomes like this journey you're both on together.
Yeah. Journey of coevolution,
I like that.
where you're both committed to your own growth and the growth of the relationship.
So speaking of commitment,
Yeah.
one of the articles focused on this idea of relationship maintenance.
Oh, yeah, that's important.
Like, it's not just about falling in love,
Right.
it's about the work of keeping that love alive.
An ongoing process.
Exactly. And the research gives us some strategies for doing that.
Like what?
For example, one study found that couples who regularly express gratitude
Hmm?
and appreciation for each other
Yeah.
tend to be happier
Makes sense.
in their relationships, right?
Yeah, it's easy to get caught up in life and forget to acknowledge the good things,
Totally.
the little things our partners do for us.
Right, like we forget to say thank you.
Exactly. But those expressions of appreciation, those little affirmations of love,
Yeah.
they can make a big difference.
And it's not just about words, right?
No, it's about actions too.
Like what?
Making time for each other, prioritizing quality time,
Mm-hmm.
doing nice things for one another, just showing that you care.
Another crucial aspect of relationship maintenance that came up a lot was communication.
Communication is key.
We've talked about listening and conflict resolution,
Right.
but it's also important to just create that safe space for open and honest dialogue.
Absolutely. Being able to share your thoughts and feelings without fear of judgment.
Yeah.
It's essential for building trust and intimacy.
It's about creating a space where you can both be vulnerable and authentic.
Yeah. And it's not just about like the big serious conversations,
Right.
It's about checking in with each other,
Yeah.
sharing your day, listening with empathy.
Just staying connected.
Yeah. Through all the ups and downs.
And sometimes that means putting the phones down,
Oh, yeah.
right? Disconnecting from all the noise.
And just being present.
Just being there with each other.
Creating space for real connection
Yeah.
and meaningful conversations.
You know, looking at all this research on love, it really hits me that it's not some fixed thing.
Right.
It's a process.
Yeah, it's a dynamic process.
It's a journey.
an ongoing journey of discovery and growth and connection.
I love that. And it's a journey that's best shared with someone who shares your values, who supports your dreams, who challenges you to grow.
Someone who makes you laugh,
Yeah.
who sees the good in you, who inspires you to be your best self.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into love,
Yeah.
we encourage you to think about what really stuck with you.
What surprised you?
Yeah. What are some things you can start doing today
Yeah.
to cultivate more love and connection in your own life?
Remember, love is a choice.
It is.
It's a choice we make every day through our actions, our words, and our intentions.
It's a commitment.
Yeah, commitment to showing up, to being present, and to nurturing those bonds that matter most.
We hope this deep dive has given you some valuable tools and insights to navigate this world of love and relationships.
May your journey be filled with joy, meaning, and deep connection.